What's up, guys? Alan Belcher here. We're broadcasting straight from Roufus Sport. We're down here in the dungeon doing some training, and I'm here with the Master Duke Roufus. We're talking about Ronda Rousey, her last fight, and we were just having a little conversation about it, and we kind of wanted to share with you the thoughts on that, and what did you think about that fight? Ronda, right after the fight, I mean, she completely dominated the fight. One thing, and the whole beef was crazy. After the fight, Miesha tried to give her fist bump, and Ronda totally shook it off. There's a lot of controversy about that. What do you think about that?
Well, it's hard, you can see the angst. I watch all the shows. I mean, I'm such a huge fan. I watch everything, and I'm an insider too, just for research. And you could see the tension amongst these two athletes. I believe I just heard that. I believe Miesha did the same thing against Kat Zingano. That being said, Ronda totally dominated her, and I get it. I've been in there with people I don't like. You've been in there with people you don't like, and being on that show, it built a bad blood. But I tell you, Miesha Tate, Ronda, whether you love her character or not, don't take it as she's trying to kiss your butt. She got her butt kicked. She basically did not only submitted literally in the fight, but that was a submission of you. Hey man, you whipped my butt. I'm gonna, I would have liked to see Ronda touch gloves. Yeah, you don't have to like her. Yeah, just move on.
I would like to too, but at the same time, I mean, it's fighting. It was the heat of the moment. We've all done stuff like that, and maybe she regrets it, maybe she don't. But it doesn't necessarily mean she's a bad person, right?
No. I mean, I hope she learns from it, because I think she has a huge potential. She's a great icon for women's fighting, as is Miesha. But I just think there's something to be learned from that. The Duke Roufus in his 20s isn't the Duke Roufus he's in his 40s, and I made a lot of mistakes, and you're going to learn from it. But I am a firm believer of, let's keep the martial arts and mixed martial arts. I think that's what separates the MMA athletes, is not what you see sometimes at a boxing weigh-in or post-fight boxing. We saw the debacle earlier this year with Paulie Malignaggi, who's a classy fighter, and Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner was able to push Paulie's buttons so bad that he wanted to got Paulie infuriated. They're ready to fist fight after a prize fight, and I just want to see that type of behavior kept out of mixed martial arts. Yeah. Really, I don't want to call it MMA anymore. Mixed martial arts is professional martial arts. That's the pinnacle of martial arts, and Ronda being a judoka, she understands respect. She's a black belt and Budo. I get it though. At the end of the day, let's not pulling punches and paint a picture that's not there. This is fighting. Yeah. You don't have to sing Kumbaya and love each other. I mean, if you don't like someone, you go out there, punch their face in, rip their arm off, choke them to death. But, you got to respect anyone who steps into the field of battle with you. Even if it's a touch, you don't have to hug it out, bro it out, or sister it out. Yeah. Just that little moment of touch, and I think I saw something afterwards that Ronda regretted that, and I'm glad she said that, and hopefully she learns from it.
While we're on the subject of Ronda, what do you think about her turning around, taking this fight that fast after she won the? I mean, this usually UFC champs fight like once, twice a year or something like that. She's turning around. She's fighting Sarah McMann. It's a tough fight for her. Is UFC cashing in on this Ronda craze? It's smart of them, right?
Well, I think not only the Ronda craze, the women's craze, and I mean, Ronda is a high-level Olympic athlete. Not unlike our friend Ben Askren. He'd fight every month if they'd schedule him. I mean, wrestlers, judo people, they're used to competing in tournaments constantly. So I think it's a very comfortable thing for Ronda. I think she would rather fight often. It's easier to stay in shape. I know when I was fighting, I love being more often. The more downtime, it's harder to get back up again. Even Uriah Faber took a fight on short notice recently too. I mean, that being said, the Ronda brand is strong. Mm-hmm. I love it though. I mean, I have my little daughter. You have a little daughter. Oh, yeah. I think these women are great role models for young kids. I see it just as a very powerful thing. That being said, there's more stars coming up in women's MMA.
Yeah. Why is it women's MMA so interesting to people? People look, and there's so many viewers watching whenever the women fought versus the men fighting on the Ultimate Fighter. What is it about watching the women fight? Why is everybody so interested in it?
It's the X factor. It's the unexpected. Years ago in the Colosseum, when the Colosseum started peaking in the Roman society and civilization, after a while it wasn't slaves, it was actually free people that fought in the Colosseum by choice, and they brought in another type of gladiator called the gladiatrix, and that was a new element to the Colosseum, which I think the softer our culture gets, the more violent we like our entertainment. We are the modern Roman culture, and the women coming in is just an appeal. It goes against the old school chivalry of, oh, women can't fight, they shouldn't punch each other in the face, they shouldn't be doing that. But we love watching it. It is part spectacle, but it's an incredible sport. I mean, what I love about the women's fights, there's no feeling out process. They get after it. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of women's fights where I'm actually bored. Actually, one of my former students, she's really tearing it up. I'm so proud of her. She trained with me probably since she was 14 until she moved away to college. Rose Namajunas, she won by incredible flying armbar, and now she's on the next season of the Women's Ultimate Fighter, and I've got some aspiring women here, and it's really cool to see women get their shine, and they're empowered by it, but there's just the public loves it. I mean, we've been watching men fight for centuries. It's nice to see the women go at it, and I think the women bring a different element, to the competition. It's a different fight. The women, it's not the same fight as the men. Even watching a 125 fight.
They're aggressive. They're feisty, right?
Yeah, it's fighting, and that's it. I mean, a lot of them don't have a game plan. It's just they go, and whatever happens, happens. It's old MMA. It actually kind of reminds me of the older Pride days. Wherever the fight ends up, they try and win.
Now, from a striking standpoint, I know Sarah versus Ronda Rousey, while we're on that subject, it's a grappling match, wrestler versus judo player. Just from a striking, footwork type of standpoint, how do you see that fight going? What do they need to do to impose their different games? I mean,
obviously Sarah's a good, really high-level wrestler, but I got to tell you, Vic, is it Vic, the coach of Ronda Rousey? He coaches some very good boxers, and you saw in her last fight the improvement of her boxing, and you can see that Ronda's putting a lot of time in her boxing. What Ronda has going for her is she has the mindset to be aggressive, and that's what helps a lot of good judo and wrestling people pick up striking. If they have aggressive nature from fighting in judo and wrestling, they're going to pick up. I think that Ronda needs to do exactly what she did in the last fight, but the only thing she's going to have to worry about, two factors, not necessarily the striking, but the takedowns of McMann. Can she armbar off her back against a really good wrestler? Secondly, can she throw a really good wrestler? But again, the person who's more aggressive with their striking, especially the boxing, is going to win the fight.
That's a good point right there. All right, cool. Heck yeah, thanks.
Oh yeah, having fun. Just tune into Alan Belcher's site. We also have a site we share together, ProMMAtraining.com as well. Alan Belcher. What's your site again, brother?
What? Oh, ProMMAtraining.com.
Yep, yeah, ProMMAtraining.com, and then as well, DukeRoufus.com. Just like I said, we just look forward to giving you more info, lots of content, and hope you like what we're putting out. See you soon.